Hello everyone, thank you for joining. During this session, I will be sharing with you important information about Social Security and I will explain to you how Social Security works in Malta. So, Social Security contributions and National Insurance contributions, they both refer to the same thing. Contributions are paid and go towards social benefits, for example, towards sickness benefit, maternity benefit, and so on. All persons who are in employment who are over 16 years old and up to the retirement age of 65 must pay Social Security contributions in Malta. Contributions are paid in weekly rates in the case of employed persons, and these are deducted automatically from their salary by their employer. So, if you are self employed, then you need to take care of your own Social Security contributions. The European Union has a system of social security coordination that links payments made in different member states. The NI number. So, to pay your social security contributions in Malta, first you must be insured under the Maltese system. To do so, you will need to obtain your NI number. Most of the time, your employer will help you with this, but in case you would like to do it on your own, you can do this by visiting a social security branch in Malta, or else you can also apply online. For EU nationals, an NI number is only issued upon presentation of your work contract or promise of work. Normally, 10% of your basic salary is deducted, and your employer will pay an additional 10% as Social Security. These are the NI rates for 2026, so you can understand a little bit better how it is calculated. Um, Over there, you can see the basic weekly wage, and 10% is calculated as Social Security contributions. Sickness benefits. So, sickness benefits may require an aggregation of insurance periods completed in other member states. So, if you have just moved to Malta and you are sick, then you need to have a minimum of 50 weeks of insurance contributions payments for you to be eligible for your sickness benefit. But if you have paid, for example, 30 weeks in Malta as Social Security, and if at least 20 other weeks were paid in a different member states, these are added up, and therefore you will be eligible for Social Security contributions because these have accumulated and you have reached the 50 weeks minimum of insurance which is required for you to be eligible for the sickness benefit. Evidence of insurance period for sickness benefits purposes are exchanged between member states through the E104 or SO41 form. So you inform the Social Security Department that you have already paid an X amount of weeks as Social Security in these countries, and they will gather this information from these member states between themselves. Applications for sick leave benefits can be made using the medical certificate, which is issued by the doctor treating you. So, if you are sick, you need to go to the doctor, and the doctor will give you a blue certificate as shown in the picture, which will contain your details and from where. When you fell sick for the first time and when until when the sickness will last, and you will issue this certificate to the social security department to be eligible to apply for the sickness benefit. Children allowance. So in Malta, people receive children allowance when they have children up to the age of 16. These are means tested depending on your income and range between 450 euros up to 1,400 per child annually. There are also the maternity benefit and the birth bonus. So, the mother of a newborn child or adoptive parent receives 1,000 euros for the first baby. Then, a once only payment of 1,500 euros is paid upon the birth or adoption of the second child, and a one time only payment of 2,000 euros is paid upon the birth or adoption of the third child and onwards. For more information, one can visit the Social Security website. There are important information on benefits and how these are paid. Old age pension. So, an application is lodged in the state of residence when you reach your retirement age. Each state pays a rate of pension according to the length of insurance that you have paid under their scheme. So, it is also important to note that more than 1 year of insurance is required to be paid in any member state for you to be eligible um, to accumulate those months as social security contributions to be then eligible for your old age pension. So, for example, someone who has worked and paid NI for 10 years in Malta, 20 years in France, and 10 years in Italy would have accumulated 40 years of payments, and this person would receive three different pensions. 25% of your pension would be paid for by the state in Malta, 25% would be paid for by Italy, and 50% would be paid for by France. This is just for you to understand how this is calculated when you work in different countries, in different EU countries. The retirement age in Malta is that of 65 years for those born on or after the 1st of January 1962. Useful forms. So when you move from one member state to another, the following forms are very useful to have. Contact your Social Security institution in the state of employment to issue the following. So DU1 certificate. This is a certificate of insurance periods. This is a certificate which explains how many contributions you have paid in that particular country. And this is very useful if you decide, if you become unemployed and apply for unemployment benefits, because the state would know that you have already paid insurances in another country. The U2 form. If you are receiving unemployment benefits in one country and you would like to move to Malta and bring these and continue receiving these unemployment benefits with you, you need to ask the country where you are moving from for the U2 form. The E104 or S0421 is the certification of insurance period for sickness benefits. And these are for the purposes to satisfy eligibility when a person hasn't met the minimum, such as the 50 weeks in Malta or the 20 weeks within the previous 2 years. Contact your Social Security department for any questions before you leave your country. This is very important because sometimes people leave their country before they obtain the necessary documentation. The entity responsible in Malta is the Department of Social Security, and this department is responsible for all matters related to social security. Specifically, the International Relations Unit deals with mobile workers and their queries. So over there you have their websites, and on their website you can also find a lot of information. But if you have particular questions which are not answered through their website, you can also email them on iru.dss@gov.mt. If, on the other hand, you would like to ask EURES Malta for more information, please feel free to email us on eures.jobsplus@gov.mt. We are also active on social media, so just type in EURES Malta on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Our page will come up, like our pages, and you will be able to message us through social media as well. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye for now.